Hello everyone, good evening. I'm going to talk to you about how does testing works in consulting and how does testing works in a startup. Similarities, differences, what happens in one, what happens in another. This is a really subjective talk, okay? I don't have any facts that is going to compromise what I give you. It's just my own experience on all the companies I have been working and all the clients I have had over the past years. And yeah, so it's really subjective. Feel free to disagree with me if you want, but don't do it too much, please. And so what have I been doing? I'm actually an Android developer. I've been an Android developer for 3.5 years. I have been working. I actually started on doing front end and working on Angular and working on the last company, which is Mailer. I will talk about it. I'm currently working on Farfetch, which is an e-commerce shopping luxury. So it basically you can shop luxury clothes there. They have the website, the Android application, the iOS application. I'm working on the Android application, of course. Before, I have worked on Bliss applications. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's Bliss applications provide services to other clients, to other customers. So basically, people come to Bliss asking for applications or products or websites, wherever, and we just make them. So it's also somehow a consulting company because sometimes we go to the clients and we work there, but not so much in the consulting sense of the word. And I started working on Mail, which is where I'll learn a little bit of front end, but not so much. Mail, it's a communication platform for kids. For example, kids from 3 to 6 years or even less, 2 years maybe. In America they have it. They can send text messages and draw things. It's really fun. You should try Mail on the episode. It's really a fun application. And yeah, I'm an Android developer. I don't really enjoy iOS. I think Apple it's bad. Don't use Apple, use Android. So at this moment, I'm a little bit like this. I feel a little bit like this because as you notice, I'm the chief over there because I'm a developer and you are PS, you are all the wolves. Okay, so I'm a little bit nervous and I feel a little bit like this. So let's start the juicy part. So first of all, we should make tests, right? Everyone here knows that tests are really important. All kinds of tests, automation tests, functional tests. Everything is important and we should make tests. And why should we make tests? Because it gives the developer, from the developer point of view, it gives some, let's say, safe spot. Because the developer will know if he changes something or if something fails, he has the tests, the automation test, for example, to compromise that it works. And even the functional team, if the developer changes a functionality, the functional team will tell the developer, hey, look, this went wrong. What happened? What happened? And it also relieves the pressure on the functional testing team. Why? Because the test shouldn't fail, right? If we make an automation test, for example, it will be green, it will be available, and the functional testing team will not, let's say, will have there also a safe haven that the developer will, before sending to the functional team to test, they will know, okay, this test passed, so I think it should work. Sometimes it doesn't. And it helps understand the product logic, and this is really important because most of the times, developers, when they are coding, they do understand the product, but they don't understand really everything that's about the problem. All the edge cases, all that can bad happen on some functionality they are implementing. And doing tests, it kind of makes you really think about what can go wrong. And that's why tests is really important. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but there's the it there, and it actually means I.T. and this means that I test. And I do, of course, I do automation tests, and I also do functional tests when it's needed. Sometimes I have on the regression tests on Farfetch. And so I try to focus more on automation, of course. It's really not my job, but it's part of my job, or should be part of my job. But I also have on functional tests. So, what's the startup tool? What happens here? What happens is usually the startups, they do have one application and one product, basically, right? One application, one project, one client, usually. Sometimes can have more, you can have product owners, product manager, but the client is usually the same. It doesn't really differentiate that much. And you have one or you have many developers working in one application. So you have maybe just one, just a single one when the startup is starting, and it will grow. And the startup, if the startup has success, it will grow, you will have more developers. And of course, you will have the functional testing team. Many applications have. Again, if it's a startup, maybe only one QA, one, two QAs, two functional testing tools, but they do have a lot. And there's time. In startups, we usually have time. We have, I'm not going to say free time, but we do have time to test stuff, to think about different kinds of ways to do things, except when there isn't. And when there isn't, usually it's in the start of the startup where we have investors. And Mailey was a startup that was, let's say, in the beginning, and we had a lot of investors in Mailey. And we needed to rush the product because we wanted the product to be fast on the store so we can show to investors so we can raise money to Mailey. And that's why we did a lot of tests on Mailey. We had a lot of automation tests, we did a lot of functional tests, but we really didn't have time for it. So it was a lot of work, and that's really where you don't have time. You also don't have time in startups when you are, for example, in Farfetch, we have the sales season. In the sales season, everything is chaotic. Everything is chaotic. You have to do things, you have to do things fast, you have testing, you have to test, you have to see if everything is working. Except on those periods, which is, let's say, a minority of the time, you have tests and you can test everything. And they do promote testing. It's really important to have a team of testers and to all have automation tests, to have functional testing. It's really important on a startup to have that because it's their product. And especially for the end users don't want to see a product fail, right? It's our product, it's our baby. We want to have success with that product. So it's really important to have testing and to have functional teams testing it to ensure that everything that goes to the user happens. For example, we launch every 2 weeks. We try to launch every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and we also have regression tests all on those weeks just to ensure that the end clients, or the stuff that we developers do, will not break the rest of the application. And that's really important. And on the consulting world, what happens? Usually what happens on the consulting world, there are many clients, there are many applications, there are many projects. And some clients are really picky, some clients just don't know what they want, some clients do know too much what they want, and that's really hard on them to deal with those clients. And there's really a lot of developers, and usually instead of working one developer per app, or more than one developer per app, we actually have a lot of developers on different apps. So there's absolutely no time whatsoever on consulting firm. When you are working on a product and you think, okay, I finished this feature, what can I do next? Oh, I have to jump on another product. I have to jump on another stuff to do. I really don't have time to make tests when in a consulting firm. And they don't promote automation testing. They do promote functional testing. They do have a lot. Sometimes, most of the companies, they do have a functional testing team. And I know some of the companies also do have automation dedicated test teams. For those, good for you, that's really nice. But most of them, I really don't think they have, and I really don't think they can promote it. So basically, what's the main difference? The main difference is that usually one application leads to more testing for all of the reasons I said before. It's their product. They want that to work. And to ensure that work, it should be tested. They do have dedicated teams for tests, but here's the thing. A developer should not make functional tests on their features. They should make unit, UI, and integration tests. And why is that? Because when I'm developing a feature, I'm thinking on many things. I'm thinking about all the edge cases, all the errors, the loadings, what should happen. I can miss something. And if I'm going to test that, I'm really fixated on what I'm trying to do there. And for example, I already delivered a feature one day, the button didn't work. it was working one day. The next way, I don't know, maybe I changed some code. I completely forgot that that case didn't work. I sent to the functional testing team and they say, hey, this is not working. Well, what's going on? Whoa, okay, that was my bad. So we really should, and this helps having a functional team testing things for you and helping you test stuff. And of course, if I had a unit test for that button, then I would know, okay, this one is not working because my test would fail. And I would know, okay, I need to do this. So that's why it's really important to make tests. Test is really, really, really important. But here's the thing. Making automation tests is really not an easy thing to do. Why? Well, most of the developers, they do not know or they don't have their code prepared. Basically, when you are doing some feature, you need to have your code prepared to do your testing. Because if you don't have, and I will show an example in the front, if you don't have your code prepared for the test, then trust me, you will not be able to test. And lots of developers don't know this. And because of that, it takes a lot of time, and it's really time consuming for the testing. It's really time consuming to make tests. When they don't know, and because the code looks really untestable, it's really hard to test. They try to, maybe they think they want to test, but they try to, I don't know, just figure a way to do that test and they can't. And why is that? Well, most of the times and most of the developers, what they do is, or actually, it's really not a selling point. And why it's not a selling point? So basically, this happened to me once. We had, on my previous company, we had a client. And we were trying to have an application for that client. And what happened was, okay, we can make this application in 4 or 5 months. Cool, perfect. But we had other people competing with us. And they were saying, no, but we can make it in 3 months. So what do? We know, internally, we know that we are making 4 months an application because we want to make tests. Because we want to make automation tests, we want to make functional tests. And then we have other guys telling them, oh, we do it in 3. Maybe they are not running tests. And what happens? Well, we can cut the tests. So we just cut the tests. And we won't have time for us to do tests because of that. So the client, it's really picky about this. And it's really hard to give the clients, like, look, tests are important. You should really do tests. It will be better for you in the future. But trust me, many times they will not understand that. They just want the product fast. They just want the product cheap. That's what they want. Because also making tests costs money, of course. You waste time, you waste money doing it. And I hear this a lot. I hear this really a lot. When they tell me, but we can just press some buttons and test. We just go to the application, they press 3 buttons, and oh, it's working, that's fine. And I mean, no, that's really, really not testing. Testing is way more than that. Testing is thinking about all the edge cases, thinking about what the developer didn't think, trying to understand what the product needs, what the client wants. That's what testing is. It's not just pressing buttons. And I had one story. One guy, he was just telling me, hey, why don't you do this? And I was like, no, that really doesn't make sense for the user and not really a good thing to test. And he was like, no, but I want it. Just do it like this. It's really what I want. And what can you say to that? It's really hard. And it happens a lot. And so basically, how should we develop tests? So we should, it's really important that the developers, and here I'm talking about automation tests, the developer should really use some unit test framework. So you go to your developer and say, hey, use Mockito, that's for Android. Use MS Test, which are .NET. Jasmine is for JavaScript. Just go tell your developer, use these. These tools will help you make your tests. You should also talk to your developer about dependency injection. Dependency injection is something that the developers are really scared about. If you want to scare your developer, talk about dependency injection. They will be afraid of you. Because most of them, they really, it's a nightmare. I will explain what this is very simply. I have a kind of an example for it. But it basically, you have a function and you just show them things. Like, you need this, so I inject you this. It's going to be simple when I explain it. They don't think about single responsible principle. You have no idea how many times I've seen classes with 5,000 lines of code. It's impossible to test. And they do everything. They go from API, from database, from UI, they do everything. That's really, you really don't want. And what single responsibility principle means is each class should have their own principle, their own objective. And it's only that. So all of that should be composed to different models, and you should really start making small tests on each of the models. And that's how you can test things. And this is a little bit, avoid singletons, it's just a buzzword in programming and coding, which means that it's a little bit of, how can I explain this? It's like you inject something in a bad way, let's put it this way. I will explain what it is. So, why, this is some untestable code. What this code do? By the way, I'm doing this in Java because it's the language I'm more experienced with. And so basically what this means is, depending on the time of the day, for example, if I was to run this code now, it would say good evening, because it's between 16 and 21, okay? And we cannot really test this. Or if we test this, we have to make 4 tests. And we have to make 4 tests in 4 different times of the day. We have to test this 4 times in 4 different times of the day. Do you know why we can't make tests here? Do you have any idea what in this line, it's just one line is preventing all of the tests to fail? Do you have an idea what is it?
Give us 1 hour.
He wants to tell me.
Because the time of day is not controllable.
Exactly. And that happens because you have that calendar.get instance, which is getting the calendar now, like this moment in time, and it's getting the hour of day, and we really can't control this because it's inside the function, okay? So, what can we do? And it's actually very simple, and this is where dependency injection kind of comes in, which is, well then, I'm going to give this getGreeting function, I'm going to give something that I can control. So now you will need a calendar. I'm telling you, inject this calendar, you will need this calendar. And this makes all the difference. It's just a little bit different. It's just that. Just that, you can go tell your developer, show this example, say, do this. And trust me, now you can test. And why can you test? Because now you can control the calendar. And you can say the calendar to any hour of the day that you want. We want to make a test that if the hour is 11, it's going to be equal to good morning. If the hour is 16, it's going to be equal to good evening. Now we can test everything. And now we have the control. So that kind of code, just by setting that, we can do this. And we can manipulate the calendar. And this is what many developers don't do. They really don't make testable code. And this is how you can go to them and say, hey, look at this. You should really do stuff like this. You should really help us. And that comes to our final topic, which is some tips and tricks. And here I believe that everything is about communication. I think it's really important to have communication between the QA, the functional testing team, and the developers, even the automation testing team, because that's where you solve the problems. If, for example, just tell your developer about dependency injection, they will be afraid of it, trust me. But really, ask your developer if he could write a test case for something really complex to test, or something really complex to do in your terms. Maybe they will find a way, maybe they will think in a way on how to do that and help you. And then, if that function, for example, if a regression test that you do quite often, it's very troublesome, ask them to make a test. They will run the test, it will show green, and then you will have that safe habit that, okay, this should be working. I don't really have to make too much tests. And of course, just encourage your developer. Discuss things, teach him things, let him touch you things. Just really prepare him. It's all about communication, really. Okay, that's it for my presentation. Thank you.